my kitchen. I'm Fit by J.Lee and this is my kitchen. We are going to be making delicious, gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free chocolate chip cookies today. This is just a delicious treat if you have some dietary restrictions or if you're just trying to eat a little healthier but you still like a little sweet treat at the end of the day. This is for you. And these are so easy to make, you're not even gonna believe it. You'll make them and you'll be like, what? That was so easy. So let's get into what we'll need today for tools. You are going to need a bowl, make a nice big mixing bowl. You're also going to be needing something to mash bananas with. So I'm using a potato masher, it's nice and pink. You will need either a blender or a food processor to go ahead and grind some oats because we're going to be making our own oat flour today. The last thing you'll need is baking trays for the oven, and we're going to go ahead and preheat this oven to 350 for today's meal. Let's get into ingredients. This is a pretty simple recipe, so the main ingredients that you're going to need to make these are bananas. I would say for 2 people, maybe 2 sets of 2. If you're just doing a batch for yourself, you want to make 6 cookies, grab just 2. You'll also need some old-fashioned oats. These are things that I added. These are totally optional and you can add whatever else you want into these cookies. That's just basically the base, is that you need the oats, you need the bananas, but that's a little bland. So to flavor things up, I'm gonna be using this natural peanut butter, which this specific one, it is gluten-free and dairy-free, from what I can tell. So going along with theme, and you're also going to be needing some cinnamon, yum yums, my favorite spice, and you're also going to be needing some maple syrup. This is what we're going to be using instead of sugar to make these a little bit sweeter. I'm not going to use a lot. This one's an eyeball measuring system for sure. And we're also going to be using these chocolate chips. I just grabbed these chocolate chips from Trader Joe's. All right, so what better to pair with a chocolate chip cookie than a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a cab from Paso Robles Caretaker. I love this wine. It's just a really nice Cabernet, really earthy, really got those like light fruit notes, but still real full body, so good and perfect to pair with chocolate. So that's what we're dishing up today. Let's go ahead and get started on this recipe. Aerating because we're fancy. All right, so here we go. First, I'm gonna start with the bananas. Peel them, mash them. So any bruised spots, if they're small, I'll just cut them out. So I'm using 4 bananas, and for this recipe, my ratio of oats to bananas is 2 for 1. So for every 2 bananas, you're gonna need 1 cup of oats. So first, I'm going to mash up the bananas because that's easier to do when the oats are not included. And then we'll work on those oats. But just so you know how much you're gonna need for future. So mashing bananas, the ripe bananas are a lot easier to use for this than less ripe. So just make sure you have semi-ripe or full ripe bananas. Mash it like baby food, okay? Now, let's go ahead and do our oats. So I've got my food processor. If you don't have this and you're using a blender, definitely do 1 cup at a time. So I'm gonna do 1 cup. Might as well just do 2. She can handle it. Now, there's a trick to grinding your oats. The trick to the oats is to not grind them into a fine dust. We're not trying to really make flour and you want them to have a little bit of a texture. So while you don't want them to be whole, you don't want them to be completely crumbled. Get your little lid on. I love this thing. Target, like 20 bucks. Perfect. You can see she now looks like this. So there's some chunks in there still, but it's not a fully fine grain. So we're gonna dump that in. So now I'm just gonna mix these oats in to the bananas. All right, so bananas and oats, pretty bland, pretty basic, right? So what we're gonna add is our peanut butter, our maple syrup, and our cinnamon to spice things up a little bit in here. So I'm gonna start with the peanut butter. Again, just the measurements. I'm just gonna take a big old spoonful and I'm gonna add my spoonful to my dough. Your spoonful could be smaller, your spoonful could be bigger. It's totally up to you. Again, your imagination, your kitchen. I'm just here to vibe with you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Once I'm done here, I'm adding my maple syrup, so my sugar substitute. Maple is a natural, if you get 100% Vermont, it is a natural sweetener, and I'm gonna add like a tablespoon, maybe? You use your eyes, okay? Because you then, see how now that I've added the peanut butter and the maple, it's getting a little bit softer. It's getting a little more. Now, we're gonna add our cinnamon, and you know me, guys. Just get her in there. The more cinnamon, the better. Cinnamon added. So what is the last thing that we need for our chocolate chip cookies? Duh, chocolate chips. Again, eyeballing. The shaker on there. So I maybe put like half a cup in there right now to start. And to me, that seems honestly just fine. Now, grabbing a spoon, and it's time to dish these babies onto the baking sheet. Because these don't have any baking soda, they don't have any yeast in them, they're not going to rise. You basically drop these right onto the pan, spread them out into the shape you want, so make like a roundish shape. I usually do 3 across, 4 down, so 12 to a pan. So, these babies are going in here 6 minutes aside, which means I'm going to flip them halfway through, so 12 minutes total. And we will see you babies in 6 minutes. Okay, so it's been 6 minutes, so we just flipped the cookies. So I turned the trays and switched them, which one was on top, and I'm setting it for another 6 minutes. So we'll check back and make sure that they're cooked all the way through before we take them off. All right, timer's gone off. We're gonna pull these babies out. You can see they got nice little crispy edges, looking fully cooked. And the beauty of this is if you want them a little doughier, you can cook them for less time and not have to worry about any foodborne illnesses because there's no eggs, no dairy, nothing to worry about. Cheers! Tasty treats are ready. Let's give these wonderful cookies a try. Ladies first. Chocolate's still melty. I'm biased because I love these, but how does it taste to you compared to like a traditional chocolate chip cookie?
You can tell it's not a traditional cookie, but it's still very good. I think if it didn't have the chocolate chips, I wouldn't get the vibe. Because I do taste the banana.
Yep.
I like bananas though, so I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm a banana person.
It's definitely subtle. Because the cinnamon and the peanut butter for me really stand out, but they don't overpower. They all kind of like are a good level.
But I think the chocolate chips make it for me.
Definitely tastes like healthy.
Yeah, but it's not like you're like
what you would think like a health food is. Yeah. I'm very like, I don't like to label food as like good, bad, healthy, not healthy. But when we're getting down to the nitty gritty, like what's good for your body and what's nutritious and what has nutritional value, like this is definitely the better option.
It still like hits the craving part, I guess. Because I'm one like I'd be fine after this one cookie. Like I'm someone who just needs the fix.
Yeah.
So like it gives me the fix after the one cookie.
Well, that's what I always say too. I'm like, what you're really craving is the chocolate, not the cookie. But we like the vessel of the cookie. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another cooking adventure in the kitchen with Fit by J.Lee. I hope you guys try these cookies. If you do, leave a little cookie emoji down in the comments below. Let us know how you like them. And tune in next week for some more delicious, nutritious, yummy goods.
I don't know what it is yet, but you wait and see.
Oh, you will see for sure.